भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वन्तः स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनं हृदयसौभ्रयवृद्धानि विदुनोति सुहृस्ता सताम्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठकी। Hare Krishna, devotees. Today I'm reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 26. Uh, King Purunjana goes to a forest to hunt and his queen becomes angry. Verse 8. Anyatha karma kurvano manarudo nibhadyate guna pravaha patito nashta pragnya vrajatyadha. Synonyms: Anyatha, otherwise; karma, fruitive activities; kurvana, while acting; mana anuradha, arudaha, being influenced by false prestige; nivadyate, one becomes entangled; guna pravaha, by the influence of the material qualities; patita, fallen; nashta pragnaha, bereft of all intelligence; prajati, thus he goes; adaha, down. Translation: Otherwise, a person who acts whimsically falls down due to false prestige. Thus, he becomes involved in the laws of the nature, which are composed of the three qualities: the goodness, passion, and ignorance. In this way, a living entity becomes devoid of his real intelligence and becomes perpetually lost in the cycle of birth and death. Thus, he goes up and down from a microbe in a stool to a high position in Brahmaloka planet. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There are many important words in this verse. The first is anyatha, otherwise, which indicates one who does not care for Vedic rules and regulations. The rules and regulations laid down in the Vedas are called Shastra Vidhi. Bhagavad Gita clearly states that who does not accept the Shastra Vidhi or rules and regulations when mentioned in the Vedic scriptures, the acts whimsically or puffed up with false pride never attains a perfection in this life, nor does he attain happiness or liberation from the material condition. Ye shastra vidhim utsarjya vartate kama karatah na sasiddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. One who discards spiritual injection and acts according to his own whims and attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination, as per Bhagavad Gita 16.23. Thus, who is deliberately transgressing the rules and regulation of Shastra is simply involving himself more and more in material existence in the three modes of the material nature. Human society should therefore follow the Vedic principles of the life, which are summarized in the Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, life in material existence will continue. Foolish person do not know that the soul is passing through 8 lakh, 8,040,000 species of life, or 84 lakhs in Indian style. By the gradual process of evaluation, when one comes to the human form of life, he is supposed to follow the rules and regulations laid down in the Vedas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that the living entity, since time immemorial, is suffering the threefold miseries of the material nature due to his demonic attitude, which is his spirit is revolt against the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna also confirms in Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Mamai vansho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana Manasasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which includes the mind. Every living entity in the is a part and parcel of the God. There is no reason for the living entities being put into the miserable threefold condition of material existence, but he voluntarily accepts the material existence on a false pretense of becoming an enjoyer. To save him from this horrible condition, the Lord has given all the Vedic literature in his incarnation of Vyasadeva. It is therefore said, Krishna boli se jiva anadi bahirmukha ataeva maya tare deya sansara dukkha. By forgetting Krishna, the living entity has become materialistic since the time immemorial. Therefore, the illusionary energy of Krishna is giving him different types of misery in material existence. CC Madhya 20.117, Chaitanya Charitamrita 20.117. Maya mugdha jivera nahi swata Krishna jnana jivera kripaya kaila Krishna Veda Purana. When a living entity is enchanted by the external energy, he cannot he cannot revive his original Krishna consciousness independently. Due to such circumstances, Krishna has kindly given him the Vedic literatures, such as the four Vedas and 18 Puranas, as per Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 20.111 Every human being should therefore take advantage of Vedic instructions. Otherwise, one will be bound by his whimsical activities and will be without any guide. The word Manarudha is also very significant in this verse. Under the pretext of the becoming great philosophers and scientists, men throughout the whole world are working on the mental platform. Such men are generally non-devotees due to not caring for the instruction given by the Lord to the first living creature, Lord Brahma. The Bhagavatam 5.18.12 therefore says, Harava bhaktasya kuto mahat guna manorathena sati dhavato bahi. A person who is a non devotee has no good qualification because he acts on a mental platform. One who acts on the mental platform has to change his standard of knowledge periodically. We consequently see that one philosopher may disagree with another philosopher, and one scientist may put forward theory contradicting the theory of other scientists. All this is due to their working on mental platform without the standard of knowledge. In the Vedic instruction, however, the standard of knowledge is accepted even though it may sometimes appear the statements are contradictory. Because the Vedas are the standard of knowledge, even though they may appear contradictory, they should be accepted. If who does not accept them, he will be bound by the material conditions. The material conditions are described in this verse are guna pravaha, the flowing of three modes of the material nature. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in a song, Miche Mayara Vashe Yacha Bhashe Kacha Habadubu Vai. Why are you suffering? Why are you sometimes being drowned in the waves of the material nature and sometimes comes to the surface? Jiva Krishna Dasa E Vishwasa Karale Tayara Dukha Nai. Please therefore accept yourself as a servant of Krishna. Then you will be freed from all the miseries. As soon as one surrenders to Krishna and accepts the perfect standard of knowledge, which is Bhagavad Gita as it is, he then comes out of the material modes of the nature and does not fall down and lose his knowledge. Nashta pragna, the word pragna means perfect knowledge, and Nashta pragna means one who has no perfect knowledge. One who does not have perfect knowledge has only mental speculations. By, by such mental speculation, one falls down and down into hellish condition of the life. By transgressing the laws laid down in the Shastras, one cannot become pure in heart. When one's heart is not purified, one acts according to the three material modes of the nature. These activities are very nicely explained in words 1 through 6 of the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita 2.45 also further explains Traigunya Vishaveda Nistrigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvando Vo Nitya Sattvastho Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. The Vedas mainly deal with the subject of the three modes of the material nature. Rise above three modes, O Arjuna. Be transcendental to all of them. Be free from all the dualities and from all anxiety for gain and safety, and be established in the self. The entire world and all material knowledge is within the three modes of the material nature. One has to transcend the three modes, and to attain that platform of transcendence, one must follow the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus become perfect in life. Otherwise, one will be knocked down by the waves of material nature of the three modes. This is further explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.30 in the words of Prahlad Maharaj. Matir Krishne Parata Svatova Mito Bhipyade Gruhavatanam Adantagorbi Virshitam Tamistram Puna Punasharvit Charna Chavarnananam. Materialistic persons who are too much engaged in the material enjoyment and who do not know anything beyond their material existence are carried by the whims of the material nature. They live in a life characterized by the chewing of the chewed, and they are controlled by their uncontrolled senses. Thus, they go down in the darkest regions of the hellish life. End of purport. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyantya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. I would like to seek blessing from all the assembled Vaishnavas and thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself. Please forgive me for any shortcomings. This in Bhagavatam, many verses are explained in detail by Srila Prabhupada, and this verse is one of it. It it seems so simple because in the beginning, the message is very simple. Anyata karma kurvano, and if you read it, you'll think this is the simplest message, and still Prabhupada explains through many different examples and angles and says, if we do not follow Shastras, we'll fall down. And that's given. That's assured here. And it seems like that we are still not doing it. We are still lacking that. And we are still through the ego, through the false ego, we always fall down. And so to understand that, I went through the scriptures and I searched through different commentary by Vaishnavacharyas, and I've listed a short summary today because Prabhupada has already explained a lot already. So in this section of Bhagavatam, Narad Muni narrates the allegory of King Puranjana to teach King Prachina Bahirshut. The essence of this verse is simple, very simple, right? I mean, and still very deep. So the living entity acts independently of God, anetha karma, in the verse. The pride, which is mana rudha, makes him think, I am the enjoyer and I'm in control. And then the flow of the three modes, the guna pravahat, sweeps him along. He loses his real intelligence. Real intelligence. It's not the intelligence, it's mentioned as real intelligence. And that is expressed through word nashta pragnaha. Prajna, which is the real intelligence, we lose that and we think whatever we have is an intelligence, but it is not. And it is clearly highlighted here in this verse, in this word, Nasta Prajna. And the result, the end of endless cycle of rebirth, sometimes higher, sometimes lower, Adar Urvadham. So to understand from different angles, I like to, for myself, I like to narrate it through the stories. And one of the story that I was reading in one of the commentaries is it goes like this. Imagine a traveler on a high mountain path, and for many lifetime, the travelers has wandered through the forest, valleys, and desert, always looking for water, shelter, food, and so on. And he thinks he has a choices, and he's taking pride in that, and he takes a pride in the intelligence he has, the skills he has. He can build the tents and collect food and all that, and he thinks I am doing it. And one day the teacher points out that you are actually ignoring the map, the which is the ancient guides, the scriptures. And by bypassing those instructions, you you think you are traveling, but you are still traveling in a circles. You are just going here and there. Sometimes you are on a mountain peak, and sometimes you are in valley, but you are not going anywhere. You are just circling here and here. And that just resonated so well with this verse, where if we don't think, if we think we have knowledge, intelligence, and senses, and if we ignore shastras, the real map of how to get out of this birth and death cycle, then then it will not happen. We'll still be fallen down, and we'll be just going through life after another. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, sings very beautiful songs. And this is another angle where I was looking at songs, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Jiva Jago, Jiva Jago, Gaura Chanda Bole, Kota Nindra Jao, Maya Pa, Pishachira Kole. Wake up, also, Lord Gauranga is calling you. How long will you sleep in the lap of witch Maya? And this is where Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a soul is slipping under Maya's influence and being tossed up and down. And as Narada warns King Puranjana, Bhaktivinoda also urges us to wake up and stop following the whimsical desires. And Narottam Das Thakur, one of my favorite, Vaishnava poet, he says, Hari Hari Bifale, such a beautiful verse, such a beautiful prarthna. Hari Hari Bifale, Janama Gonainu, Manusya Janam Paya, Radha Krishna Bhajiya, Janiya Suniya Visha Kainu. O Lord Hari, I have wasted my human life. Although I obtained this rare human birth, I did not worship Radha and Krishna. Knowingly and unwillingly, I drank poison. And every morning in a Mangala Arti, we sing this another uh, from in a Guru Ashtakam, we sing Sansara Dava Nalalira Loka. The spiritual master is saying this world is basically we have to get out of this birth and life. Sansara is Davanal, and we have to come out of that, and that's also highlighted there. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says, Amara Jivana Sada Pape Rata. We think we are intelligent when we do so many things, but we are still in this, we are still doing paps, and that's why we are never, and that's why we fall down and we never come out of it. And how do you then follow, and how do you think of this verse, and think of how do I apply, and how do I do a checks? And so first thing first is we have to respect the Vedic rules, the Shastra Vedis. And if you choose to disregard them because of the ego or pride, I don't need that. I know better. We think like that, and that's where you will be entangled. Even if your action seems good and without humility and scripture grounding, they can bind rather than make you free. And we have to watch out for the pride. We are thinking, wow, what am I doing for my own praise, my own reputation, and my own image? And That's where we are losing the humility, and we have to practice that. And we have to also notice the influence of the mode. And when do we feel, whenever we feel restless, anxious, or over ambitious, we have to see what gun is actually dominating. When we are lazy, we fully depressed, and that's tamas. And when the pride makes you feel better than others, that's rajas and sattva mixing. And using the Sankirtan, hearing, chanting, association of devotees, that will steady the influence. Devotional practice will help break the attachments. We have to also value the human birth and seek intelligence. We do not value. We are thinking we are in control, and we are the most intelligent, but we are not. And that's, this is our chance. And we have to surrender and devotion as the way up. And all the stories and all the songs that I mentioned by Gaudiya Acharyas shows that surrender is not a weakness. So this is very important. Surrendering is not a weakness, it is a strength. One who surrenders to Krishna becomes anchored. No matter how lively the up and down storms of the life, there is a peace, So one of the beautiful painting, Krishna says, I do not I do not promise a stormless ocean, but I promise unsinkable ship to you. And that is such a beautiful thing. I always remember that. I try to remember that. And that is also, very, very easily understood by this up and down storms that I mentioned. With this, I'll conclude here today. Please excuse me for any shortcomings, and I will take blessings for my